Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafford, along with my good friend,
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 260. 260.
260.
Artemis,
Talk to me.
how are we doing, man?
We're good, brother. We're good. It feels like I haven't seen you in a long time. It feels like we haven't talked football in a long time. It feels like we haven't played a football game at ECU in a month. I know it hasn't been that long, but it feels right.
During the fall, my schedule revolves around football, of course. And yeah, the last week was just weird. We didn't do an episode last week.
Yeah.
We had a much needed break, to be honest. Just with me traveling, you traveling.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an insane time in my life. So just super busy. So I was like, hey, let's take the week off. Bye week. No better time to do it. But we're back, and it's good to see your, I was going to say beautiful face, but I'm not going to go that far.
Hey, go with your instincts. That's what you wanted to say. That's what your gut told you. That's what your gut told you.
Well, you look good, man. Beard looks on point. Did you get it cut recently?
Look, man, I trimmed it, a month and a half ago, and I just been kind of just making sure I shape it up, edging it up. Got a new trimmer, got a new straight razor, so we've been practicing on that thing. So
you gotcha. Yeah, nice. I can't remember the last time I actually shaved or trimmed my own beard.
I don't usually do it often, but I've been trying to get into it a little bit.
I let my outstanding barber Josh take care of all that goes on above my neck. Josh is the man. Love that man. But cool. Already episode 260.
Yes, sir.
This episode of the Boneyard Podcast is brought to you by Roback. I'm wearing it. Check it out. Go get you some Roback. Hey, look, we're in the perfect football weather season. I don't know. I mean, right now here in Winston, it's cold. It's rainy.
Yeah, it's been miserable.
And yeah, I needed something a little bit warmer tonight. I'm rocking the hoodie. This thing's so comfortable, man. So comfortable.
Love the rollback pieces that we got. They're very, very comfortable.
Go get you some. Use Boneyard20 at checkout on your first order, and you'll get 20% off your entire order. Roback.com. Go get you some. I mean, lots of great stuff. They even have this hoodie now with the Pirate State of Mind here in black. So if you're looking for something new, guys, if you're looking for your if your wife is like mine, or you got family like mine that's saying, hey, what do you want for Christmas? And you're the type of guy that's like me and says, I don't know, just get me whatever.
Yep.
Tell them to get you some Roback. Roback.com. 20% off Boneyard20. Artie.
Yes, sir.
Episode 260. Do you have a 60 for me?
I do have a 60. I'm taking it back old school. I don't think I've ever said this name, so I think this one is pretty new. One of the pillars of old school American football, that is one Otto Graham, who was famous for actually wearing number 14 in his career, but he did wear the number 60 for quite some time. Played his full 10-year career for the Cleveland Browns. Went to 7 out of 10 championship games. I think he actually won 7 of those 10 championships with the Browns in those early years. Obviously in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Browns Ring of Honor. And again, one of those legend pillars in the early days of football. So that will be my 60 for the week. One Otto Graham. Google him, kids.
Yeah, I'm not going that far back. This guy played.
So
this guy played up until 2018. Only wore the number 60 1 year, but that year was with the Atlanta Braves back in 2008. Artie. His first year in the majors. Guy by the name of Gregor Blanco. If you're a real Braves fan, before the Acuñas and Freddie Freemans and whatnot of the world, you know Gregor Blanco, outfielder, back in during the end of the Braves run, that crazy like run that they had of going to the postseason and whatnot. 2008, like I said, came into the league with the Braves. But yeah, he I don't know. He didn't do anything special. He's a 2-time World Series champ, but he was kind of one of those guys that
one of those role guys.
One of those guys that, I mean, he played for
guy.
the Braves for basically 3 years, and then he's most notably known for his time on the Giants, where he won 2 World Series, and spent a majority of his career with the San Francisco Giants.
Great last name though. Blanco is awesome.
Yeah,
great last name.
Fantastic. All right, Artie, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Around ECU, not much to talk about. We got basketball starting up next week, or in about a week or so, I guess. But first off, ECU women's soccer, they clinch a spot in the American tournament with a 2-1 win over UTSA. They'll look to repeat as champions. They got a tall test. I mean, Memphis looks like they're just unbeatable right now, but ECU women's soccer making it back to the tournament.
Nice.
That's really all we have for around ECU. I mean, we could talk volleyball, but the season started off super hot for ECU volleyball.
Cooled off a little bit.
And since we got into conference play, everything's just kind of slowed way down.
Yeah.
But let's talk ECU Tulsa. I know like we said, we didn't record last week. I'll be honest, I was watching it at a golf course at Bear Creek Country Club in Dallas, Texas.
Nice.
See the hat, peep the hat. But it seemed like one of those games where you had a little bit of everything, right? Offense played well, probably left some points on the board. Could have definitely probably ran it up a little bit. Had some empty drives, but all in all, talk to me about what you saw in that matchup about 2 weeks ago against Tulsa.
Yeah, look, I'll say this. It felt like one of those matchups where like you're the big brother and you're holding little brother at bay, and he's swinging, and he's trying really, really hard, and he's getting a few licks in, but really nothing too damaging. That's what it felt like when we played Tulsa, because they were definitely staying up with us enough to make it a game, enough to give us a little bit of a scare, enough to where our offense had to do what they did. But ultimately, I truly think that was the most complete offensive game we've played all season. 568 total yards of offense. I mean, Caden Hauser had 2 touchdowns, 300 yards passing, no interceptions. That's basically a perfect game. I thought Anthony Smith was going to pop off for 300 yards at one point in that game with his receiving. They just couldn't stop him. And then the rushing game, like for the first time all season, we finally like exploded on the in the rushing game. It was like, we had been bottling it up all season, and then they finally just explode for 268 rushing between Montgomery and Marlon Gunn. So that was refreshing. Again, I think the offensive performance was great. Yeah, we left some points on the board, some opportunities, but I'm not going to really bash anything from an offensive standpoint. We scored 41. You score 41, you win every game that you play. Defensively, I will say I think that there were some lapses. I think it's just kind of, I don't know whether it was just like a lack of motivation. I don't know if they just didn't get up like they were to for this game, because they couldn't stop Tulsa, but allowing them to score 27 and keeping them in that game. That tight end that they had for Tulsa was getting anything and everything he wanted at times, which is kind of pissing me off watching that game throughout. Obviously, there were some calls in that game. Anytime we play Tulsa, you're going to get some calls that are kind of questionable, but nothing that actually kept us from, obviously winning the game. But I will say it for the first time all season, albeit against a defense that's not that great, we had our most complete offensive game, and it looked good to see.
Yeah, the tight end you're talking about, Brody Foley.
Yes, he was
That
killing us.
that guy has been putting up an absolute insane year. 24 receptions, 387 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I mean, considering Tulsa, I mean, they don't really know what they're doing on offense right now. It seems like at
He's the
times
one cock. He's the one.
he's the guy. He is definitely the guy on Tulsa that, I mean, that is really kind of leading the charge. I mean, now he's the number 2 receiver for the Golden Hurricane, and he's only about 30, 40 yards shy of the number 1 receiver with, 20 less receptions. So he's kind of like the check down guy. Like, hey, and it's not really a check down. It's hey, go out there and we're gonna throw it to you, and you're just bigger than everybody, and you're gonna catch the ball. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple plays where he just kind of he got outside the numbers and they threw it to him down the sideline and he got it.
Just huge chunk plays he was getting. Yeah.
But other than that, it just didn't seem like they could really get anything other than those chunk plays.
Right. We were very much bend don't break for a lot of that game. Defense kind of just caught on late, but some definitely mental errors there.
The way that they played a very similar style offense in that game to what ECU likes to do and try to have these quick, explosive play drives. And when it worked well. But when it didn't, they looked a lot like the ECU from the first 6 games of last year.
Right.
When they didn't score, they were being held to a 3 and out, or they'd maybe get 1 first down and then they'd have to punt the ball.
Right.
So no turnovers in this game,
which is phenomenal
on either side. I would have liked to see one from
obviously
ECU take one away, but no turnovers in that game, which honestly was kind of surprising to see. I mean, that you always expect weird things in ECU versus Tulsa, but luckily we didn't see anything crazy happen in this past game.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a bounce back, right? You had that loss to Tulane where you really did not play a clean, crisp football game, and Tulane gave you an opportunity to kind of take it in their building, and you just didn't capitalize and didn't take it. Not to allow that loss to turn into 2 losses, obviously coming back home and let Tulsa creep up and turn into a trap game is very important.
The fact that we should be talking about ECU being 6-1 right now, I mean, you could very well make a case for beating NC State and beating Tulane, both on the road in hostile environments. Well, I'll say hostile environment. That Tulane.
Yeah, no, that's not a hostile environment. They maybe had 6,000-7,000 fans there. Maybe, I don't know. So
I don't know what the announced attendance was, but it didn't seem like much. But I mean, the fact that you should be 6-1, you had chances to win both of those ball games, and had it not been for slow starts to the game in both of those games,
yeah,
you're talking about a team that's 6-1 with everything out in front of them to make a run at this conference championship game.
Yeah,
and maybe even be considered for a college football playoff.
The state game is one that I look back on that really hurts. Looking at how state ended up, they're sitting at
4. We're their Super Bowl already.
Yeah, I mean, like the way that their season has ended up, that game was like, damn, we really should have gotten out. We really should have got. If State was sitting at 7-1 right now, I'd be like, okay, that's just a really good football team.
Yeah,
we should have gotten out for sure.
It's just another. I mean, we're in a better spot than what we were last year for sure.
At this time, yeah, absolutely.
And there's still a lot of optimism, even though you haven't still one game on your schedule where who knows, you may be playing a top 25 team here in the span of about 3 or 4 weeks when Memphis comes to town,
Mm-hmm.
and having a real shot at playing spoiler for the Tigers. But to get to that point, you have to win. You have to win your next ball games. You got to beat Temple Saturday. You're gonna have to beat Charlotte the following week on homecoming. Some of that. Hey, we look at Charlotte's schedule or Charlotte. Excuse me, Charlotte's record right now, and you're like, okay, yeah, we should do that, but we should have beat them the last 2 years when you look at the record. So with all that being said, it's if you can get through these next 2 weeks, you have a real good chance to have one of those special games in Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium when you take on Memphis. But you got to get through Temple and you got to get through Charlotte. Temple's no slouch.
No, I actually think this is the most evenly matched game we've got to date for the. I mean, we've either played teams that are slightly better or teams that are slightly worse. I think Temple's right there with us. Right, you look at how they've lost their 3 losses on the season, and we'll obviously get into this with our guests, and how we've lost those games that our 3 losses all to pretty decently quality opponents or ranked opponents. So no, Temple's not no slouch at all. Like Temple can absolutely beat us in this game on Saturday if we don't play our best ball.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like Temple's.
They've only lost to Georgia Tech, Oklahoma, and undefeated Navy. We're talking about some of the best teams in the country. That's their only losses.
But then you also look at it took them to overtime to beat a Tulsa team.
Any given season, man. It's football.
And that's something that like I really think, and I'm sure the coaching staff has been doing a hell of a job of doing this past week. The film study, the way that it works out for ECU to have a bye week to prepare for Temple, but then also be able to compare your film against Tulsa to Temple's film against Tulsa. That is the perfect lineup for this game to get you ready. I mean, we always know that going into Philly and playing in the Link, albeit in front of a bunch of empty seats, that's always tough. Just there's no atmosphere. So being able to go into Philly and try to take it to Temple, that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
And this is a Temple team that, I mean, last year was 3-9, right? Fired their coach. We fired our coach. Got both. I still consider Blake Harrell a first-year head coach, even though he had the contract and coached last year. Mm-hmm. This is his first year coaching full-time as a head football coach. And the things that he's done and the turnaround he's had since he took over and the turnaround that Casey Keeler's done here at Temple, it makes for an intriguing matchup on Saturday. So I think we're in for a good one. This is going to be a lot of people will look at Temple this weekend and maybe say, hey, like it's just Temple.
It's just Temple, right? They're going to think Temple of old. This is not the Temple of old. This is not the Temple team.
I mean, this is a good football team.
I mean, if they don't let Navy off the hook, they're undefeated and leading the American right now.
Yeah, you look at that game and they lose to Navy by 1 at home and then beat Tulsa by 1 in overtime on the road. It's what are you going to get from them? They've played a lot of close games, but when they've played a team that's superior to them, they've struggled at times, and that makes sense, right? It'll be interesting to see what they do come Saturday. Artie, before we get to our guest, though, let's talk a little bit about parity in college football this year, man. This is one of the most interesting college football seasons I think I've ever seen. And I've said it in the group chat a couple of times. Is it just the case that everybody sucks?
No, it's not that everybody sucks. It's just you can't stockpile talent anymore. It's NIL and it's transfer portal, right? You're not going to have a 5-star sitting on Alabama's bench waiting for 2 years to play. That's never going to happen again. You're not going to have 3 or 4 5-stars sitting on Georgia's bench waiting a year or two to play. The transfer portal is going to allow all these kids that were sitting, waiting at these big-time programs. They can just go to an Indiana. They can go to a Georgia Tech. They can go to a wherever and flourish and still make the playoff and still compete for a national championship. I think that's why you're getting the parity. That's why you see Indiana ranked number 2 or 3 in the country, Georgia Tech ranked number 8. You're starting to see a lot of these G5 schools with a legitimate chance still to make a college football playoff. So I think it's NIL and I think it's transfer portal that's really the reason. I don't think it's that team. I mean, Alabama's still there, Ohio State's still there. Your blue bloods are still there, but they can't stockpile talent.
But you can also make the case that all of those schools that are still there, outside of maybe Ohio State right now,
they look kind of unstoppable.
I can make a case for why every school in the top 25 looks suspect.
Yeah, and you can make a case why they could win a national championship.
Yeah,
you really could.
It's really. I don't even know. Here in a couple of weeks, when's the first college football playoff?
It's coming soon.
Is that next week or the following? I believe it's November 13th that week.
Okay, so maybe 2 weeks from now. All
right. That's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
And who they have as I don't even want to say the group of 5 representative because that's not how it works. It's the top 5 conference champions. And let's be honest, it's going to be somebody from the American. Who do they have as that team in 2 weeks? That's going to be really interesting to see.
Well, you've got Memphis ranked right now, so that Memphis will be there. You can't sleep on Navy because Navy's still undefeated and sitting at the top of the
yeah. We'll see how what happens to them. They've got one of the easiest strength of schedules, but they also got to play Notre Dame here in a couple weeks.
Right. Tulane's still there, obviously. I think South Florida eliminate themselves.
I still think Tulane and South Florida should, in my opinion, should both be still ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, but I think South Florida's out of it. They're not going to catch up to Memphis and Tulane at this point, right? Especially after losing to Memphis. I don't think their hopes of a college football playoff berth to me are done at this point.
I don't know, man. It's going to be. I'd have to see all the conference championship scenarios. I don't know that USF can. I believe they've got everybody on their schedule. They'd have to win out to get to the conference championship, I'm sure, and then go back and play Memphis on the road, most likely. But all right, Artie, let's talk ECU Temple.
Let's do it.
We talked a little bit about this game just a couple minutes ago, but we're gonna talk with I guess a returning guest now, and I'll say a friend of the podcast, Sean McGrady. Sean, welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me back on. Happy to do this for you again.
Yeah, man. The pleasure is all ours. Man, we were talking a little bit ago about how this Temple team isn't the same Temple team that we've seen in the last 3 years. It seems like they're a real contender, sitting at 5-3 on the season. Talk to me about what the Owls are doing and how Casey Keeler's kind of turned this program around.
It's Casey Keeler has turned this program around quicker than anybody ever thought he would have. I think we had decent expectations. He's won everywhere he's gone. Me, the optimist who has a stupid Temple podcast, I was like, yeah, they could win 6 games and go bowl eligible the first year with Casey Keeler, but Vegas didn't have them doing that. I think our over-under win total was 3.5, which who would have thought we'd already have that. And now it's this game against ECU and chance to be bowl eligible. And if you've been following Temple, we had a heartbreaking loss a couple weeks ago to Navy. And that's in the back of every Temple's fan. It's like we could already be bowl eligible right now. And now it'd be like, all right, we could get a better bowl. He brought a winning culture. He absolutely flipped the switch. And I mean, Rod Carey was our coach 2 coaches ago, and he just didn't know how to recruit Philadelphia. He didn't have the it factor that you need to win at Temple. Stan Drayton, I liked him, but he might just be a career coordinator type guy or a career running backs coach type of guy. Casey Keeler has won at lower level. Sam Houston State, he helped elevate them to Division I. They used to be, Division I AA or FCS, whatever it is these days. And he got them up there, and they already had a winning culture. He won at Delaware. And I've had the pleasure to talk to Casey on my show, and this is borderline his retirement plan. I mean, he's from Delaware. He's in his mid-60s, so he's on the older side of coaching. And I think he just wanted to come here and have some success near his hometown to end his career. And so far he has. So he, and before I was on, I could hear your guys' tail end of the previous discussion. And you guys talked about NIL and the transfer portal. And it's tough for the smaller schools. And he's doing the best with what he can. And as I mentioned, he's an older coach. You think maybe he's a guy who wouldn't understand it? He does. One of the smartest things he did was he brought his general manager from Sam Houston State with him, and it's a younger guy. I pretty much compared this guy to Jonah Hill's character in Moneyball, and he said that to me. He's like, yes, that's pretty much my role at Temple Athletics, and the guy's from Texas, but he just knows college football. And for a school like Temple, who has a budget, and I'm sure you guys are in the same boat, you got to hit on the guys that you hit on, and they've done well. With some of the guys they brought in. Evan Simon, who was our quarterback last year, they brought him in from Rutgers. He didn't start the season, but by game 3, he became the starter. And he had decent stats last year. He's playing out of his mind right now. He has 21 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I've jokingly said, when does he start getting the Heisman hype? I know that's not going to happen, but hey, man can dream. But no, they really.
If Mestamaker ever stops doing whatever the hell he's doing, man.
But no, it's weird because our schedule was so tricky to start the year. You didn't really know what you were going to get with us. We played UMass and Howard, who UMass is, I think, statistically the 136th ranked team in Division I football right now. Yeah. We played Howard, who's a Division II HBCU, but Temple should win that game. I think they won both those games on average score 49 to 14. So they beat the two teams they should be. We started out 2-0. Next game was Oklahoma. Game after that was Georgia Tech. Oklahoma beat the shit out of us. I will not sugarcoat that one. It was 49-3 or something. And, again, positive Temple fan. I was like, maybe we could keep it 35-10, maybe if we're really good. But then I was like, all right, as good as Casey Keeler is, even he can't compete with a team whose budget is probably $20 million, and our budget's barely $1 million. Georgia Tech, they went down 21-0, then showed some life. I think the final of that was 45-24 or something. So it's all right, you kind of got blown out, and then in the third, fourth quarter, you made a little bit of a comeback. So we started off 2-2, and I think it was, are we more of that team that beat the crap out of the bad teams or got the crap beat out of them? And it's definitely somewhere in the middle, but we're winning games that we should be winning, which is something that Temple fans could not say for the last 4 years. I think our last 4 seasons, we went 3-9. So, I mean, to say we're at 5 wins right now and bowl eligible, nobody can complain. So it's KC bought this winning culture. Evan Simon is playing really, really good football. They're moving the ball on offense well. The defense is making good plays. I think our run defense is still a little suspect, but overall they're making plays. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been something that I don't want to say I'm a jinx, but I think since I've started this podcast, I haven't had a good winning season. So this is nice for me. I'm actually excited to do episodes this season.
Join the club. I mean, that's well, we were bad before we started this podcast, and we started this podcast when we were bad. And then Yeah, I mean, it feels like ECU and Temple have had similar trajectories over the last 5-6 years of, okay, ECU's a little bit ahead of where Temple was, just being that they fired their coach last year. They ended up being bowl eligible last year after firing the coach. But it feels like these 2 seasons, because a lot of what you were talking about is very similar to what the ECU season's been. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. ECU should have beat NC State. Should have beat Tulane a couple weeks ago. You had a chance. And then you play a good team in BYU at home, and by all accounts, ECU very well could have been in that game. And so you look at the games, and it's like, okay, man, like we beat the teams we should. We've lost games that, okay, when we were looking at the schedule, okay, yeah, we're probably chalking up those as L's, maybe some push games here or there, but it seems like both programs are kind of in that space where, okay, whatever is supposed to happen, they're doing. Talk to me like the mentality around Temple and around the program, being that, as you mentioned, they've been 3-9 basically the last 3 or 4 years. Now they've kind of got a more of a winning mentality. What's going on there?
Yeah, no, I think going into this season, and Coach Keeler has basically said he's won everywhere he has been when he came here. And he said Temple, I think he said the word sleeping giant, which sounds cliche, definitely coach talk, but like Temple proved that they can win. Obviously it was 10 years ago at this point. Matt Rule had one of the best Temple football seasons ever, but like, it's not impossible to think about that 10 years ago, Temple had College game day on. Is that going to happen this season? No. But like, I think consistently Temple could be a 6-win team every year, given the circumstances of Philadelphia has some good good high school football around it. So you can recruit. And, just to kind of chime in on this subject you guys were saying before I hopped on with the transfer portal, NIL. I mean, look, we're not out recruiting Penn State for a 5-star recruit or a 4-star recruit, but there's some kids from Philly that go to Penn State and they don't play freshman year or sophomore year. That's who they got to like bank on just getting in the transfer portal, like people like that. And then again, being the general manager that we have, like making sure they make the right moves. This is going to sound like a crazy conversation, but CBS did an article on it. I think ESPN even mentioned it. Chambliss, who's Ole Miss's quarterback, who like is in the long run for like the Heisman. He was supposed to visit Temple. Like they had him set up, and then Ole Miss swooped in and offered him like $400K, and we couldn't do that. But like that was a guy that they had on their radar, was like almost a done deal to do, like get him. So like as much as Evan Simon has been balling out of his mind this year, like that's a guy that like we had a chance to get, and the coaching staff is really good at identifying talent on a good budget, and they've proven that time and time again. We did bring in Jay Ducker, who's a running back. He was at Sam Houston State with Casey Keeler. He's been having a good year. It's probably a long shot. We might have to make a bowl game, but he could potentially get 1,000 yards rushing, which I think last year the team didn't even have 1,000 yards rushing. Like right now he's averaging like 80 yards a game. So it's not impossible for him to do that. Our offensive line, this is a crazy stat. I don't think last year we had the same 5 offensive linemen start any game. Like every game, it was a new set of 5 offensive linemen. We had the same 5 offensive linemen start every game until game 6 this year. I think 6 was the first one that was like our left tackle, like missed some time. But like things like that go such a long way. Like to never say you had continuous offensive line play, and now you first 5 games, 6 games of the year, you've had them all in staying healthy. And again, the transfer portal, it is what it is. I don't love it, but they brought in some good linebackers, whether they're from JUCO level or from, a Power 4 type of school, and then they drop down a level. So you just got to like hit home runs when you can on that, or even, singles and doubles on that. And all that adds up. I will say like quarterback Evan Simon. I don't know if you guys remember this, like 2 or 3 years ago, we had EJ Warner. He was Kurt Warner's son. And it was like, he was doing really well. He's at his like 3rd school now. Yeah. Evan Simon was at Rutgers. He's a pretty decent athlete. Like he doesn't get as much credit for his scrambling ability, but like he's just making the right play. And a lot of that has to do with our offensive coordinator, who we bought in from. He was at the FCS level, Youngstown State, I think it was. And they put up like NCAA video game numbers. Like they were averaging 500 yards a game, 250 rushing yards. Obviously not replicating that with Temple's. I know it's a drop off a little bit in skill level. We're not the number one team in the country, whereas they were last year where he was. But like, it's just good play calling. Like he's just getting guys open and, there's some pre-snap motion, getting the tight end moving around, getting the running backs moving around. So like the offense has looked so much better than I can remember in the last 4 or 5 years too. So it really is just a little bit of combination of like all of these things and all these different, again, it sounds like coach speak and coach cliches, but like just that winning mentality. I know Casey Keeler has said to his players, like, think the unthinkable, things like that. Like, but it's worked. So they're bought in. We're having a hell of a season. I got to ask you guys, how are you feeling confident in this game? Because you guys are favored. I think it's 3.5 points. You guys are favored on the road, even though Temple has, the better record. So I'm curious because I think it is going to be a good game. And I agree both programs are kind of in the same boat right now. What are your guys' thoughts on this game?
Yeah. It's been one of those years where it feels like for the first time ever, kind of like what you were saying, for the first time ever, when ECU is the bigger, faster, stronger team on the field, even though they've had plenty of empty possessions, they're going out there and pulling their weight and putting it to the other team. They just kind of lean on that other team until that team breaks. And that's just kind of been the way that they've played all year, and that's the way that they want to play. It's a different mentality than it was under Mike Houston, who would almost play down to every opponent that he took on. He never played up to the opponent, always played down to the opponent. And it seems like this year, while we've had slow starts to games at times, the games that we've lost, we've had slow starts in all of them. If ECU can win the first half, I think ECU wins this game. That's kind of where I'm at. And as long as they play sound football, I think that, and once again, this game's not played on paper, so it doesn't really matter. I think on paper, the team, just from a depth perspective, I think ECU is the better team. But it's one of those games that this is a game that if ECU loses by 10, I would not be surprised. Like it's just one of those. I've seen this too many times.
Yeah, I think what I would add to that, from an ECU perspective, offensively, we can be very inconsistent at times. ECU wants to stay on schedule, on rhythm, on time. If we can do that, then we are a very high potent, very dangerous offense, and our receivers can kind of break away, get open with our two Smith is Anthony Smith, Yannick Smith, and then obviously Brock Spalding back there as well. That run game has been a little deficient, and it finally kind of got together last week. But that's kind of been the one Achilles heel of this offense. But if we can stay on time, stay in rhythm, I feel confident about this offense putting up a lot of points against Temple. Now, if Temple's defense can come out and kind of get us off rhythm, then we're not a very good offensive football team off schedule. To be completely honest with you, we need to stay on schedule. We need to stay in rhythm. We need to be kind of getting at it to stay scoring. Defensively, I would say that run game, run defense, that's our bread and butter. We are very much a bend don't break defense, but if we can have good numbers in that run defense, obviously there's going to be some big plays. ECU always gives up some big chunk plays over top. It feels like to everybody, but if that run defense is doing what they're supposed to do, I'm very confident in that. From that perspective. But again, I think it's a very evenly matched up game. I think offensively, though, we have to stay in schedule, in tempo, and on time to be able to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. Like on paper, evenly matched, and obviously that's why you guys are favored on the road. I think Vegas clearly thinks you are the better team. Us having a home field advantage. Have you guys ever been to a Temple game at the Link?
I've not. Never been to the.
Nope.
It's really not a home field advantage because it holds 70,000 people. We're lucky to get like 10, 12,000. So it just seems depressing no matter what. If we can find a way to even get 20,000 people there, that seems like a decent crowd, but I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, Temple's going to win this game because they're drawing an offsides call in the fourth quarter. I will say
I'll say to the sorry Sean, to that point, there's a huge following of ECU up in that area of the country. So it feels like ECU always kind of every year I get a text every time we play y'all. I get a text, hey, are you going to be at this game? I'm here.
I would say that's more Northern Virginia than
no. You think
you're making a trip up? Come on,
the Dub D kids. The Dub D, West Deptford, New Jersey.
Yeah, you're right. I know the shout out Pinto.
No, I honestly, I don't care if you guys have a crowd. At least it just makes it look more full. That's like the Oklahoma game this year was probably our most attended game because they brought 12,000. Like that was more of a home game for Oklahoma. And as I mentioned, we had no shot in that one anyway. I think Temple's biggest saving grace here is, and I know the coach has mentioned this since our win on Saturday, I think they know that this game gets them bowl eligible. So if there is any edge that they have in this game, it's like, sorry, I'm dog sitting and now the dog's barking at a squirrel. No, but there is, I think the edge is we know this could get us bowl eligible. So if we win, I think it's because the players know that. Like that is like, this is a chance to be bowl eligible and we got to do it.
Now, from your perspective, what would you say Temple has to do in this game from either an offensive standpoint, defensive standpoint? Like, who are the key guys that got to step up to win this game?
I mean, the running back doesn't have to make the biggest plays, but he really isn't a guy who's going to get 50-yard runs, but he can get 6, 5, 6. If he just keeps doing that and then you make it a 3rd and 2, that's when we've been really dangerous with our play action fakes. Our tight end, Peter Clark, Pro Football Focus has him ranked pretty much like the number 1 tight end in like the country right now. I think he has 7 receiving touchdowns already. He's big. He is 6'5", like 240 at least. I think he honestly, if he keeps this up, he might creep into, a 7th round draft pick type conversation, which I never would have thought of heading into this year. He was more just a pass blocking tight end. But they've been finding him over the middle. He's, like I said, a big body. He can be mismatches. But then, just that play action 2-yard dump pass for the first down when you need just 2 yards. Jojo Bermudez has been a electrifying wide receiver. He's like 5'8" on a good day. He's our punt returner. He started out at Cincinnati. He transferred, I want to say, to Delaware for a year. So he has that Division I power conference athleticism. And I'm going to knock on like all the wood here to not re-jinx this, but I think he's had a punt return touchdown called back in like 4 games for like holding penalties. Wow. So if we could like not hold on one of his punt returns, that would be fantastic. But yeah, he's a really good player, number 17. So they'll sometimes run like end arounds for him. They try to get him the ball in space. So offensively, and that's why Evan Simon's his numbers speak for themselves. Who would have thought I think he might be one of the only quarterbacks in the country still with 0 interceptions thrown. And he's played every game. So he's just making the right decisions. And I think he only has 1 fumble. So realistically on the year, he's been like turnovers have been something that we are one of the best teams in the country at. Another thing that in years past, we were one of the worst teams in the country at. So just those things have just really helped turn the program around for this season. And if they can continue to do all of those things, then that's, even if they don't win against you guys on Saturday, I still think this team finds a way to get bowl eligible, which, going into the season, I think Vegas had our over under at 3.5. I would have said 4.5, and I was taking the over. I said 5. I said I think they get away to 5 wins because those 2 first games against UMass and Howard. I'm like, all right, some of those toss up games they find a way to win 3 of them. But now that we're already 5-3, I want to say at least 6. And who would have thought like the possibility of getting 7 wins is something that Temple fans can talk about in October because it's. It's been a rough couple of years.
Most definitely. And then the thing I keep going back to is this Evan Simon guy.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
21 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah, he's just making the right plays. And like I said, the offensive coordinator does call a good game and he just gets guys open. And yeah, he's just made good decision making and finding the right guys when he can, not forcing anything. So it's been fun to watch.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, like, what can ECU expect to see?
It's defensively, they got a couple of good guys. The D line is probably, I think, our biggest strength. They have a couple guys on the D line that can make plays. I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago, the defensive backs started making some plays. Like we had against 2 weeks ago, we had like a pick six and making some more like knockdowns in the defensive backfield. Their linebackers, they're good. I wouldn't say great. They kind of play like this one like safety hybrid linebacker type position, sometimes all the way up on the line, sometimes playing like that nickel DB. But they move guys around. Cameron Stewart's a good guy. And Sekou Chromo, they're both on the D line. So probably I would say they're two of the guys to look out for to maybe make a play. I know they've gotten some strip sacks and stuff like that. But our defense is suspect on the run sometimes. So I think even like UMass had broke out like a 60-yard run that like we missed like 2 or 3 tackles against. So it's like, dude, how are you doing this against UMass? So it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's perfect. The games where just last week against Tulsa, we gave up 37 points. So I'm not going to brag about our defense right now too much.
All right. Well, Sean, best of luck to you this weekend. Well, I always say best of luck after this weekend.
Yeah.
we hope you win out after this.
Thank you guys for having me on, and best of luck to you guys as well after this weekend. All
right. Before you hop off, go ahead and plug where people can find your content.
So on Twitter, I'll be back. It's on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I did make an Instagram for it because the young kids use Instagram. I don't know if they're actually following me, but I'm trying. But yeah, so I'll be back with Sean McGady, and always appreciate all the views and listens and retweets.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks,
best
guys.
of luck. Once again, Sean McGady, thank you for joining us on the Boneyard Podcast. All right, Artie, how are we feeling?
Yeah, look, like I said before, I think this is 2 evenly matched teams. I think this is going to be an excellent game. I don't see either team pulling away from each other. This, to me, feels like it's going to be a barn burner. Like it's going to be a 27-24 type of ball game. It just feels like that because both these teams want to win. Both these teams still have everything out in front of them as far as going to a bowl game, getting to possibly 8-9 wins if they really wanted to. So that's still very, very much alive for both of these programs. So I feel good. I feel confident. Like I said, if we can stay on schedule, stay in rhythm with that offense, we're going to be just fine. And if that run defense can show up the way they have, the way I know they can do so, I think we win a close ball game in Philly.
Yeah. It's one of those games where no matter what happens, I don't think I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
I do think that it'll be a close game, a closer game than what maybe the Tulsa or the Coastal Carolina game were.
Right. No, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see an ECU blowout. Give me that all day.
Yeah. If ECU could come out and do what they did in 2020 when half the Tulsa team was coming down with COVID right before the game started, wild times, man.
Yeah.
If ECU could come out and just foot on the gas, but like I said to Sean, you have to win the first half. You can't come out and get in a hole to Temple on the road. We've seen them battle back, and we know that they're capable of doing that. They've done it against Tulane, and they've done it against NC State. But you can't keep doing that. You've got to come out, and you've got to be pedal on the gas the entire time and play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Find that tempo, find that rhythm on offense, and then on defense, throw your weight around, play aggressive. If you do that, you're going to win a football game.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
All right, Artie. You got a walk the plank, or
Ooh, do I have a walk the plank? What was my walk the plank? I
me
guess.
for staying up until 3:00 in the morning last
Look,
night
man,
to watch the.
I was up till 1:30, and I got to like inning 14 or 15. I was like, I gotta go to bed, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. I hate that I missed Freddie Freeman's walk off. I hate it because
I hated that I watched it.
But well, that's an Atlanta Braves problem, not a Freddie Freeman problem. Y'all gave up on that man way too soon.
We did not give up on that man.
Well, he's been winning World Series MVP since he left, so I don't know what to tell you.
He wasn't clutching Atlanta like he is in LA.
You can't win a World Series MVP and be washed, Jared. Those two things.
I'm not saying he's washed. I didn't say that. All I said was
Atlanta thought that man was washed.
No, Atlanta offered him the same thing that the Dodgers offered him. He went home.
I don't know. Either way, he's a Hall of Famer as a Brave and a Dodger. But yeah, I couldn't stay up till 3 in the morning to do that.
I just kind of did it on accident, even like watching that game. Just my wife worked late last night, got home around 2 a.m. She went to bed, and I was like, you know what? I'm already up this late. Let's see what happens.
And it was a great game, right? I thought the Blue Jays had it. Ohtani, who was like this, our version of Babe Ruth, hits the home run to tie the game, and then it just goes for hours, eons.
I'll be honest. I completely forgot the game was on, and I was just like doing my own thing, and then I saw a tweet saying like we're going to the 12th inning, and I was like, oh, let me turn this thing on. Let's see what's going on.
3 hours later.
And then I watch a full ass baseball game. Nothing happens.
It was essentially 2 games in one. That's what
it was.
Because the Monday Night Football game was nothing to watch. I stopped watching at halftime.
I'll say when I saw that pitcher for Toronto, that I think his name's Brendan Little. When I saw him, I was like, they need to get through him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't seem to have it. I'm trying to think if I had an actual walk the plank.
I will one small one that I'll say to all these coaches that are getting fired, your Brian Kellys, your James Franklins, your Billy Napiers at Florida, who the hell are hiring these guys and giving these guys all this guaranteed money? Like, did you see what Brian Kelly is getting paid per month just to sit on the couch and not coach football?
Yeah.
It's absolutely, he's making almost $800,000 a month to not coach, to literally not do anything. I don't know who's making these deals. I don't know why they're signing this big time money to these guys, knowing that anything can happen in college football the way the cookie crumbles. But that will be my walk to plank. Like, this guy is making basically $1 million a month.
You're just gonna see more and more of it.
Crazy.
And the coaches are that's something that they do, and they have written into their contracts, because let's face it, whether it's a NFL coach or a college football coach or any coach at a high level, you are hired to be fired.
That's true.
For the most, unless you are Nick Saban, or I mean, he was. I don't think he was officially fired, but they mutually parted ways. Bill Belichick, like, unless you're one of these guys,
you are getting hired to get fired. That's very, very true.
Yeah, like you're getting a job, and you start that job knowing at some point things are gonna go to shit, and you're gonna get fired.
But albeit that's true, you at least got to bring me a chip. You got to get me one natty. You got to get me one natty if I'm giving you $800,000 on the couch.
There's 136 football programs, and there's only one championship.
We're talking about Louisiana State University. That is one of the premier, if not probably the best job in college football.
It's the best job out there.
It's the best. It's bar none the best job in college football.
But now you've got coaches like you got Kurt Signetti. He would be an absolute idiot and he just signed a contract extension. He would be an absolute idiot to leave.
Now, Indiana's situation is a little different. Indiana's cool at winning maybe 1 or 2 conference championships, getting to a few playoffs. I don't think they need a natty to be satisfied at Indiana. LSU, you got to get me a natty if I'm giving you all this money. It's what it is.
Well, there's a lot of schools like that. And I mean, you look at some of these and you look at Penn State and you look at LSU and you look at Florida and I think eventually like a Florida State and Arkansas, like these schools, while they may not be the most, they're relevant, but they're not the most, they're not like the top upper echelon, top 10 teams in the country
right
annually. Now, Penn State was, and it's absolutely wild that Penn State went from being, number 5 in the country to 3 weeks later without a head coach.
Yeah.
But you're going to start seeing it more and more because what it does, especially with the new way that the transfer portal is working out, is okay, when you fire a coach, that player has 30 days to enter the transfer portal. And then he can't enter until that transfer portal later on after the season ends.
Right.
So go ahead and fire the coach. That way, if the players want to leave,
go ahead and get them out the building, and then you can kind of recoup. I get it.
That's why you're seeing so many coaches fired this early on in the season. Right. I think I saw something that was like, there's already been $180 million handed out in guaranteed contract money this year. We still got 3 months left in the season. And I think that the most ever was before this year was 130.
Now, granted, they've all made sense outside of James Franklin. I think all of these firings have been good firings outside of James Franklin.
And then you start looking at, okay, where do the dominoes fall? Where do people end up? My guess, I am dead set that James Franklin is going to end up at Virginia Tech. I think that
all
just makes
other openings. You think he's going to be at VTech over Florida? I don't think he takes LSU.
I don't think he gets LSU. I think that's going to be somebody else.
That's going to be Kiffin. If Kiffin wants LSU, he's
going to get it. I don't know that Kiffin. That's another man that I don't think.
I hope he doesn't leave Ole Miss. I think he's.
I think Lane Kiffin and Kurt Signetti are kind of in a similar position where, look, Lane Kiffin, yes, they want to win national championships at Ole Miss, but they'll put up with his bullshit.
Well, he's already taken Ole Miss to heights they've never been to.
But what I'm saying is he could get a check and be just fine and have job security at Ole Miss. I mean, the man gets fired anywhere. He's going to be coaching. He's going to find another job. But I don't know that taking that. I mean, you've got it so good.
That's true.
At Ole Miss, like why even
so good at LSU? I don't think he would.
But LSU is the
over Ole Miss. But LSU over Ole Miss, you got to sleep on that.
Look at what LSU did after to coach up. They fired him 2 years after he won a national championship. If you aren't winning at LSU, you are out the door.
That's true. Every single outside of Nick Saban, because Nick Saban left on his own. But they have fired every coach since, and outside of Brian Kelly, every coach has been there since 2000 has won a national championship. So
yeah, but what I'll say, I think that James Franklin just fits the mold at Virginia Tech a little bit better than he does at Florida.
I mean, VTech is still a good job. I'm not saying it's not a good job.
James. You're looking at a program that is going to have to be the program that hires James Franklin is going to have to be okay with most likely going 10-3, 9-4.
If he goes to VTech, he can dominate the ACC.
I agree, and so that's why I think he would. And Now the only problem is Virginia Tech doesn't have the resources to. Trust me, they got money, but they don't have some of the resources that a lot of these top 25% of the P4 programs have that are going to be interested in James Franklin.
Right.
But I also don't know that. I don't know where Florida and I don't know where LSU go. I really don't. I mean, I know LSU, the front runner to have that job is actually John Summerall out of Tulane.
You got John Summerall, and you got the guy out of South Florida. I'm drawing a blank.
But Alex Golish, Alex Golish is almost has about the same odds as Nick Saban.
Golish is not staying in South Florida. If those bigger schools come knocking, he's not staying in Tampa. He's not. He's going to take the Florida job or the LSU job. He's not going to get the LSU job, I don't think. But there's no way he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm good on Louisiana State. I'm going to stay right here in Tampa.
He does so well recruiting the state of Florida. I think Florida would be looking at him.
Yeah, I think Alex Golish would leave South Florida. John Summerall would leave Tulane.
Oh yeah, and they'd be stupid not to.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna have more coaches fired. Yeah, I mean we just are.
It's crazy carousel. Crazy.
What would be absolutely
Oklahoma State either.
You know what would be the biggest, like, one of the craziest things to happen, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Could Marcus Freeman leave Notre Dame and go to LSU? Could it happen?
Again, you sleep on it, right? But to me, that's a lateral move. I don't really see the upside there. You've already got it so good at Notre Dame. You just went to a national championship. Obviously, you have it caked in, and you can get back to that at any point in time. It's just about winning it, and they're less likely to fire you at Notre Dame than they are at LSU if you're not competing for national championships. So if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm staying in South Bend.
I just don't know who. I don't know who's. I don't know who they hire. My guess: Florida and LSU go Golish and Summerall.
Right. They're definitely going to get calls. They're going to get interviews.
Who goes to Virginia Tech? I think, like I said, I think James Franklin makes the most sense there.
I don't know. For some reason, I see James Franklin in Gainesville. I don't know why. I feel
then don't forget. I mean, you still got Oklahoma State. You've still got
that's still a very good job too.
And I mean, would it be crazy to say there's others that could? I mean, would it be crazy to say Dan Lanning leaves Oregon to go to LSU? What do you do there?
Again, that's another one of those. I don't see the upside in leaving Oregon to go to LSU. What's the actual upside to leaving that program? There's got to be some sort of upside.
I feel like it's probably. I would say even with the. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mike Houston to LSU. Just going through all the purple schools.
I said Mike.
Mike Houston's going to eventually end up coaching Kansas State. He can only wear purple for the rest of his life.
I love it.
As far as walk the plank goes, I'm trying to think Artie. Maybe this was longer than last week. I can't remember when this came out. This story that came out, I don't remember the guy's name who wrote it, about the group text for the LA Lakers and how the news was broken to AD that he was getting traded.
Oh yeah, I saw that Bronny was the one that broke the news to him or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He posted a link to Shams a Shams tweet in the group chat that Anthony Davis was being traded to Dallas for Luka Doncic. And he posted that. And then LeBron James just replied in the group chat, WTF.
Yeah.
What does that WTF mean? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Artie. Is it WTF? Why is the rookie posting this?
My son, by the way. Why is he putting this in the group chat?
Yeah. WTF, like, this isn't the way to do this. Or WTF, like, hey, why are we trading him?
I think it's all three. I think it's all of the above. But
do you really think that LeBron James had no idea that Anthony Davis was being traded?
LeBron loves AD. He would have vetoed that because you got to think about the new regime in LA. Like they're more focused on Luka Doncic now than they are LeBron. They're going to build for the future. They're building around Luka. They're not building around LeBron anymore, and they don't even care how he feels about that. They really don't. So no, I don't think LeBron had a role in the AD trade. He would have vetoed that from jump.
But Bronny, man, you got to know your place, dude.
You got to run that by pops first. You got to at least send that to dad and be like, "Hey, did you see this?"
Or just
LeBron's got to be the one to break that.
Give it 30 seconds and let somebody else post it.
Right. Because eventually Bronny can't be the one doing
that. That's like, I don't know. That's like
the fact that Bronny was even in the group chat though. Like that should be reserved for just like the vets of the team. Like you had AD, Bron, you had Austin. What's that boy's name?
Is it Reeves?
Yeah, Austin Reeves, and then probably like one other one. Like that's got to be for the vets of the team. Bronny can't be in that group chat. It's got to be levels to it.
I think that's the most interesting part is that it was Bronny. Nobody else. And then like Anthony Davis that's how he found out that he was getting traded.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't even know who to tell to walk the plank. To me, it's Bronny.
You got to at least run that pops, bro. You got to send that to pops first.
You got to have some awareness. Have some self-awareness that, hey, even though my dad is the king, that doesn't mean I have a place here.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
That would be like the CEO got fired and the janitor shot an email to the entire company saying, "Hey, did y'all hear about this?"
No, maybe it was the whole team chat. I don't know.
I think it was, but like,
yeah. If it's a whole team chat, that's different. But if it was just between like 4 or 5 people, Bronny shouldn't have been in that chat.
But like, you think that Bronny and LeBron were sitting on the couch watching TV, and that news came across, and like he texted it while like sitting across the room from his dad?
Nah. Bronny got his own place. He's not chilling at his dad's crib anymore.
I don't know, man. Rent in LA is high.
That is true.
Oh boy. Now you're old. Just like this isn't. You know how I feel about Bronny and LeBron James and all that. We've talked about this plenty of times. That's not even a slight on either of them. You just got to know your place.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like each group chat has its hierarchy and everybody has their role.
Right. And you got to know your role, and you can't be the one that breaks that. Bronny can't be the one that breaks that news. That's true. If you're the first to know it, you're just the first to know it, and act surprised when somebody else posts it.
It's out there on Twitter. Everybody's gonna know in a span of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So All right, Artie, gambling corner.
Let's do it.
Got some tight games this week. Some tough games to kind of look at.
Not a lot of marquee matchups. There's going to be some sneaky good ones this weekend.
I mean,
not a lot of marquee matchups.
These games, at least from what I can remember, might be the ones that we've selected here. Might be the most tightly contested games as far as like spread goes. I don't know that we've ever had a gambling corner where each game is this tight. I don't know. But like you said, no marquee games really this weekend. But should be still a good weekend with the matchups that we have and how close everybody is.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into it. Our future opponent game of the week. Tulane is minus 185 at UTSA, minus 3.5 points on the spread. Over under is 55.5. What say you, Artemis?
UTSA, they are not that good of a football team this year. Rebuilding, bounce back. Look, I think that's actually kind of a little slight to Tulane, only favored by 3.5. I know it's at San Antonio, but I'm taking Tulane in this. I'm gonna take 55.5. I don't know. I don't think UTSA puts up that many points. I'm gonna take the under. Give me Tulane to cover.
Yeah, I think I'll lean Tulane to cover. I kind of lean the same way on the over-under, 55.5. I feel like this could be a game that's 35-10.
Right.
Now you are playing on the road at UTSA, and when that crowd gets going, they can play a factor. I do think that there's still a lot of parity in this conference. And as we saw a couple weeks ago with UAB beating Memphis any given Saturday. But no, I'm taking Tulane on the road at UTSA.
Like it.
The regional game of the week, Artie.
This should have been a better matchup.
Duke
It's not.
at Clemson. Duke is plus 140, plus 3.5 on the spread. Over under is 56.5. Clemson is minus 165 money line, minus 3.5 on the spread.
Mm.
How do we feel about Duke going on the road to visit Mike Houston in Death Valley?
This is a scrappy Duke team, man. I got to get them credit. They've lost some good opponents. This is a scrappy Duke team. It's in Death Valley. It's at Clemson. So, like, my head is telling me Clemson's probably going to figure out a way to win this game, but I can't take Clemson. I feel like Dabble's kind of lost the locker room. It's a lost cause on the season at this point. They're 3-4, right? They have no business being 3-4 at this point in the season. I'm going to take Duke in Death Valley. I'm going to take the over because I do think it's going to be a lot of offense, a lot of points scored, and then obviously give me Duke to take that spread.
So you're taking Duke money line.
Taking Duke money line.
Ooh. It's hard. It's hard to win on the road in Death Valley.
It is. And I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson comes out here and blows Duke out. To be honest with you, I really wouldn't be. They got the players to do it.
I can see a world where Duke wins this ball game. But in that world, I don't know that I don't know that there's a ton of reality there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Clemson money line. Clemson to cover. It's just so hard to take with 3.5 points. the spread on Duke. So I'm gonna take Clemson cover. I think once again, I do think that this might be like a 35-30 game.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see it being like a 35-27 game, something like that. So I am going to take Clemson to cover, and I'm going to take the over.
Got it.
All right. Next up, the national game of the week. Really the only kind of marquee game of the week.
Really, yeah.
Oklahoma, number 18, Oklahoma at number 14, Tennessee on good old Rocky Top. Oklahoma is plus 125 on the money line, plus 3.5 on the spread. Tennessee's minus 145, minus 3.5 on the spread. Over under is 56.5. I'll start this one off. Tennessee is a better team than what their record shows, in my opinion. I think that Tennessee is the better football team. And while is John Mateer, is he back? Is he healthy again?
Yeah, he played last week.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't watch any college football last week. I didn't watch any football.
He's back. Now, Oklahoma's offensively isn't playing that great, but he's back.
Well, Joey Aguilar is an absolute stud this year. Like, the fact that he came out of App State, went to UCLA, transferred from UCLA to Tennessee in the Imaleva trade, if you want to call it that.
Iamaleava, brother. Nico Iamaleava.
Whatever. I man, that's a lot of syllables for this Davidson County mouth.
And I don't know if I pronounce it right.
I don't know. How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Nico. I know it's Iamaleava. I think that's what it is.
What?
Iamaleava. Yes, I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's not how I've been pronouncing it at all. I'm a Aleva. Whatever. Joey Aguilar is one of the better quarterbacks in the country, in my opinion. The dude has just been an absolute stud and kept Tennessee in some football games that maybe they shouldn't have been in. They can put up points. Tennessee can put up points.
Yep.
It just always seems like they're in shootouts when it comes to top 25 matchups. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take Tennessee to win this game and play Rocky Top.
Yeah, I hate going against Tennessee because I have a special place in my heart for Rocky Top in Tennessee. I do think they're the better team. It's in Neyland, all right? So, I've got to go with the home team on this one. Oklahoma's defense will do everything they can to keep them in this game, but I think Tennessee's offense is going to be too much. I'm actually going to take the under because I don't have confidence that Oklahoma will put up a bunch of points. But give me Tennessee and give me Tennessee to cover.
And you took the under?
Yeah, I'm going to take it because it's 56.5. I'm taking it.
All right. And then the game of the week. Artie. East Carolina goes on the road to the city of brotherly love. There's no love lost between the Pirates and the Owls.
No, there is not.
East Carolina, minus 195 on the money line, minus 4.5 on the spread. Temple plus 165, plus 4.5 on the spread. Over under 58.5. We've talked a lot about this game all podcast, all episode. Now it's time to put our money where our mouth's at. What are you thinking?
Yeah, look, over under 58.5. I'm actually going to take the over on this. And the reason being is because if you look at ECU's offense and what they can do, Temple also has put up some points. They scored over 40 3 times this season. They scored over 36 or 5 times, I think, this season. That offense can score as well. So I'm taking the over. I do believe that in the end, ECU will have just enough. It's going to be a close game. I could see us having to come back in this game. I could see us being up and then being down and then having to come back some sort of, fourth quarter comeback to pull it off. I could see that happening. I could see, some back and forth, lead changes in this game, some ties in this game. But I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take ECU, and I'm going to say Temple covers. I don't think we win by more than 4.5. I think it's a field goal game.
All righty. I'm also going to take the over. I'm going to take East Carolina to cover. I think it's still a close game, but I do think ECU pulls away at the end. They've kind of had a way at times of the games that they've won. They've taken over in the fourth quarter and put up a couple extra points in garbage time. So I'm going to take East Carolina to cover. I think that maybe 7-10 points. And once again, just on garbage time. I think that you're looking at a game that's going to end up being 45, like 45-35.
Okay. So you think we won by double digits?
I mean, that's 10 points.
Yeah.
And I think
I see what you're saying, garbage time score here, and it kind of looks more than what it is.
Yeah. Like you probably score with like 3 or 4 minutes left, go up 10. Okay, now you get a stop on defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's kind of what I'm thinking. All right. I feel good about it. Last things last. Make sure you follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast, at the Boneyard Podcast on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Give us a like. If you don't, Artemis, tell them what to do.
Walk the damn plank.
Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a comment.
Yeah.
I forgot that we could even do that. If you want to comment on an episode, put a comment out there. Tell us how bad Artie sounds or how great I am. I'd love that stuff. So do that. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review. If you do, 5 stars, best friend of the podcast. If you don't, you can walk your ass down that damn plank. And make sure you go shop at roback.com. Hey, holidays are coming up.
Got to get them Christmas gifts.
And they don't just have stuff for guys. They got stuff for girls and women, and they got stuff for. I believe they got stuff for kids. Like, get you a polo. Get you some. Artie, I wore my first pair of joggers ever.
You have joggers?
Boy,
I would love to see Jared Schaff in some joggers stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen you in anything outside of jeans and khakis.
Boy, I was like, I gotta get me some more of these. and these are just like some cheap ones from like Walmart, like some sleep pants that are like jogger style.
The jogger life, man. They're very comfortable.
I was like, whoa, there's so much room in here.
Yes, excellent loungewear. Let the boys breathe down there.
Exactly. They got joggers on Roback. Get 20% off your first order. Boneyard 20. Get you one of these ECU pullovers, hoodies, polos, whatever. Get them. Rock them. Homecoming's coming up. If you order it tonight, you can have it by homecoming. And if you see us in the parking lot at homecoming, maybe we'll shotgun a beer together, rocking our Roback. With all that being said, we love you, Pirate Nation. Artie, let's get out of here.
Hey, as always, Pirate Nation, let's get this dub on Saturday at 2 p.m. Kickoff against Temple in Philly. But wash your hands, wash your butts. We love y'all. Deuce.
Love you, Pirate Nation. Go damn Pirates.